actual thing. Hello everyone. In this presentation, we will be doing a brief overview of how to set up a Square account. A Square account is an easy-to-use point-of-sale system that will allow you to accept credit and debit cards, as well as other contactless payments such as ApplePay and GooglePay. What I really want to emphasize today is that you can customize your Square account, so you can go from very simple to more complex. With both options, you can set up an account and begin accepting payments immediately. Today in this presentation, we are going to set up the simplest Square account possible, where we will only be using Square to accept in-person payments. So I'm going to be setting up a Square account alongside you today. I have not created a Square account in several years, so I'll be really walking through this process as someone who has little to no knowledge of the process at the start. So hopefully this will mirror your own experience in trying to set up an account for the very first time. So to start out, you can just search Square on Google. It should be the first thing to pop up. Here you'll have the home screen of the Square website. Because we don't have one, we're going to click Get Started. Let's see, it's going to ask us to create our account. So you're going to type in your email. I would recommend your business email, definitely an email you always have access to at any time of day. I'm going to create a password that is related to our business and that we'll remember so we can log back in later. It's going to ask you for your region. Let's see, it's going to ask me to create my password again just because I clicked the region button. So it auto selects United States. And just like that, we have an account. So after this, it's going to ask us a couple details about what kind of business we are. So just for purposes of the example, I'm just going to make up a business name. I'm not going to put in an EIN. Let's say I have 1 to 10 employees. I make a revenue 50 to 100,000 a year. And then let's see, you can either click mobile business. So if you don't have a brick and mortar that you'll be generally selling at, if you're going to be traveling around to different markets or things like that, that might be a good option. So you don't have to list an address there. Let's see, it's trying to find my address here in my office. And let's see, it's not registering it. Okay, so let's see. We'll just type in the street address of this area. There we go, popping up, auto-populates. Perfect. Let's see, good to go. We'll go from there. All right, what kind of business do you run? So this is just going to kind of help Square tailor some of the options towards something that might be helpful to me. So I'm going to say I do outdoor markets, so primarily sell at farmers markets. Where will you sell? So you can choose a couple different options. Again, this is just to help Square kind of tailor the options to you that make the most sense. So I'm going to do a brick and mortar, at an event. I'm just going to go with those two for now. So how will you take payments? You can decide here. I'm just going to go mobile phone because I want it to be as easy as possible. I don't want to deal with a bunch of other things, so I'll just go from there. Let's see. Square has a bunch of options that can also help you with other things in your business, but I just really want to use it as a point of sale system, nothing else. I manage my employees and payroll elsewhere, so I'm just going to stick with that. So right away, we can start taking payments. So here it's asking me to verify my identity, just to make sure I'm a real person and that I am able to accept payments properly. So let's see, I'll just type in my phone number here really quick. Date of birth. It's asking my last 4 digits of my social. Home address, same as business address. I'm just going to go with that for now. Let's see if it verifies that I'm a real person here. It's taking a minute to load. That's totally fine. There we go. Verified my identity. All right, so it's going to ask me some personal questions over the next couple things just to make sure, again, that I'm a real person and can accept payments. These are pretty straightforward, so I'll just leave them on here so you can see them. Nothing too crazy personal. Awesome. So now it's asking me where we should send my processed sales. So at the end of the day, once I've collected all my payments at the market, where do I want that to go? So I can choose a Square checking account where they'll actually set up a checking account for me, a next day business transfer, which is what I'm going to go with. So again, I won't get the money transferred into my account until the next day, but it is free to do so. So here's where I would link my business bank account. I do not have a business bank account. Obviously, this is just an example, so I will not be filling this out right now. So I'm just going to hit skip and do that later. Here it's asking what kind of hardware I would be interested in. So it says at the top there that with my account, I'll actually be getting one free Square reader for MagStripe. So that's like to swipe a credit card or debit card. So I'm actually going to deselect both of these options because I'll be getting one for free anyway with my account. So I'm going to deselect. I'm just going to hit skip because I'm not going to be ordering any hardware right now. That's the great thing about Square too, is that you can accept payments without any additional hardware at all, which is really, really nice for someone who's looking for a low investment up front. So this is the Square dashboard. If I had made sales today, or last week, it would kind of show me trends and things like that. So I'm just going to finish all of this stuff later. So this is basically my home page of my account. You can see here it says I'm 10% set up. It can kind of walk you through the other steps you need to do in order to get properly set up. But I'm not going to be doing any of that because, I don't have a bank account for my make-believe business I have here. There, I do want to download the app on my iPhone because that's how I will be accepting payments at my farmer's market. So I'm going to type in my email here so that it'll send me a link to download the app. You can also just find the app on the App Store. So this goes for iPhone or Android, either one. The Square app is available on both. So there we go. It's going to send me an email later so I can set that up on my phone. Also, I'm able to accept payments right from here, so right from my desktop. So let's say I have a tablet or desktop at my farmer's market booth connected to Wi-Fi, and I wanted to accept payments from here. So you can kind of just make your own item. This is similar to a cash transaction. You record your cash transactions somehow. Exact same way. I'm just typing in, a random credit card number here. This is how I would accept it. So instead of swiping or anything like that, I can just type it directly in here. You can kind of see the other options they have here as well. This is an interesting one, send payment link. So it seems like you can email your customer or text your customer a link and they can pay straight from their phone, so they can type in their own credit card number. I'm going to add a note here of what they're ordering or what they bought, just so I can keep that note later on. So it'd be easy to go back and consolidate with my cash payments so I don't forget. So this is where I would add an item if I had any items in my library, but again, I just set up my account, so I don't have anything. So I'm just doing the quick charge right now. I would hit charge, but I'm going to hit reset because I'm not actually going to charge anything right now. So go back to the Square dashboard. So that's one way to accept a payment right off the bat. The other way is to add items. So if you have, particularly value-added items that are standard and that you're going to have, on a regular basis, let's say maybe some blackberry jam. I know I'm going to have, several weeks this summer, so I'm going to type in blackberry jam. I could do a description and a category if I want, upload an image, all for my own organization, but I'm not going to do any of that because I'm just doing a super simple store for my own organization. So let's see, how do I add a price here? So you can kind of scroll down, see all the different options. You can add an option, so if you have different sizes, maybe of jams. Let's see, there's no price, so I need to go back and edit. And we'll find where I put the price in for this. So this will be super easy, again, for like standardized items I have. So I know that, I'll have these items, and I could even just put jam if I want, but it's, better to be more descriptive for your own record keeping. We'll add a couple more items just for examples. Let's see what else will I have at my imaginary market stand. We're going to have some whole wheat bread. delicious. So I'll go down here again and add the price of this whole wheat bread that I'm going to be selling. Perfect. I'm going to save it. I'm going to add one more item just for an example. And I'm going to have some honey. So for the honey, I'm going to sell a couple different sizes. So what I want to do is add some variations. So let's see. We have regular, not that, option. Option's not what I'm looking for. Here we go, add variation. Perfect. So I'm going to, let's see, I have a 12-ounce honey that I'm going to charge $15 for. So that's one size of honey. Create and add another. I also sell an 8-ounce honey, and I'm going to sell that for $12. I'll hit done. Perfect. You can see my different sizes of honey there. Hit save. Perfect. Now you can see my 3 different items that I've already added to my store. Again, this is for quick add transactions. So when I'm taking a payment, so let's say a customer comes up to my booth, I am ready to sell them something. Instead of going into the quick charge part of the top and adding a note, I'm actually going to go to the itemized, and I can just go there and select items. Let's see, someone wants to buy a 12-ounce honey, and then let's see what else. Blackberry jam. Perfect. And this is where, again, I could manually enter that credit card, or I could accept a contactless payment with my iPhone. Or again, if once I get that mag stripe reader in that Square is going to send me, then I'll be able to swipe their debit or credit card. So now I'm going to download the app onto my phone. I think probably, most people will be collecting payments through Square via a phone or maybe a tablet. So this is the iPhone App Store. So I'm just going to go there and search Square. I also received an email with the link to download this. If you remember earlier on the desktop version, I had requested that. But you can also just go to the Apple Store or the Android Store, type in Square, and it should be one of the first ones to pop up, and you can download it right onto your phone to start accepting payments. So there we go. It's downloaded. I'm going to open it. It's going to ask me if it would like to find and connect devices on my local network. I'm going to hit allow just because, in the event that I do end up getting a receipt printer or something like that in the future, that will already be able to connect to them. So I'm going to go in and type in the information that I created on my account online. And you can actually do all of this straight from the app. I just like to do it on a bigger screen before, transferring it over to my phone. But this is just some extra security measures they're showing me here. So I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to enable all of these things just so that the Square app has access to anything it needs to on my phone to help me process payments quicker and move through customers more quickly. So there we go. Start using Square. This use iPhone to accept contactless payments option. So for those of you that like to tap your credit card at the grocery store and know what I'm talking about, this could be a good option. If you have no idea what this is, do not worry about it. Definitely not necessary in order to accept cashless payments. Here it's just asking me to do some add-ons. I'm not going to do that. And I'm just going to go straight to take my first payment. So I'm going to do the walkthrough, the green button. Here is my favorites tab. So what I can do here is add any kind of, favorite items, maybe my most popular items that I have, that I sell, every week. I know I'm going to sell these 3 things or these 10 things. So I can go to my items that I created on my desktop version, add them here. You can see they're populating here. So these will be super easy to access if anyone's trying to buy them in the future. You can see the favorites tab at the top right-hand corner of the screen. So on this next order, I just added the bread. I'm also going to go and key in another item that I don't have entered, which is going to be $5 for, I'm going to make a note, this is going to be for 3 ears of corn that someone's buying. Just adding the notes so that I can go back and look and know exactly what I sold at that time. So review sale, yes, they got the whole wheat bread, they got the 3 ears of corn, check, and I'm going to hit charge. After charge, here's where I can select how they're going to pay. So I can either do the tap to pay, I can do manual credit card entry, which is what you saw me do on the desktop version. So I'm just going to type in random credit card here. It's obviously not a real one, so it's not going to go through. But if it had, I would hit charge and then would have processed into my bank account. So you could either, it's asking me if I want to continue. I'm actually going to leave the tutorial at this point just so we can see what else we got going on our homepage. So can kind of click around. These are just different things that Square has the ability to do. Definitely not necessary to do any of these. You can just use it as a point of sale system. I don't have any transactions yet, so that's what it's showing me there. What's new? It has some new tutorials I can walk through, which is super helpful. Not going to do any of those right now. Let's see. Just going through all the things I have. I can actually create new items on here. Something else that can be super helpful is that you can actually record your cash transactions through Square. So this way you don't have to work at the end of the day to consolidate your cash and credit card transactions, but Square will actually do it for you if you lock them. So you can just go to the transaction. When you go to hit charge, you actually hit cash. From there, you can just record the payment, and they'll ask if your customer wants a receipt. You can send them a text message receipt, which is really nice. You don't have to fool with any paper receipts. It sent them the receipt. I typed in my own phone number there, so we should be seeing it pop up hopefully in a couple seconds showing that your customer received their receipt. Yep, right there. So this is just kind of showing you that, Square has a capability to really take away a lot of the paper that you use, even for your cash transactions. So here you can see your sales report. If you log your cash transactions, it'll include your digital and your cash transactions, which is really nice. You can go back and see items that sold well, trends maybe that you have over the past month or the past year, the past couple months, things like that. So it's really showing you that Square has a lot more capability than just processing your digital payments. So that was just an overview of how to set up a Square account so that you are able to accept credit, debit, and contactless payments for your farm business.